All right, so this next video I'm going to talk to you about credit. This is something that's, I think right now, for now, it's still only in America, maybe in other Western countries, but when I left Africa, it wasn't there. So, what is credit? Now, this reminds me of one of the biggest lessons I learned my mentor when I was working at the college. He was the owner of the college, but he taught me about credit. And this is the one thing he told me. I'm going to quote him. And he said, in Mexico, because he was from Mexico. So in Mexico, which is almost the same as in Tanzania and Africa, how much you have, this is going to be the easiest way to explain credit. How much you have is how much you're worth. But in America, how much credit you have is how much you are worth. Now, I remember when he told me this, I was like, wow, that's different. Because when I came here, one of the biggest things you would hear from everybody is like, how's your credit score? Or what's your credit score? Or no credit check. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I know debit, I've never heard of credit. But basically, credit is the degree of which you are trusted with money, with lending, with people lending you money. It's basically how people would, if you're a loanable person or not. Now, the good thing is in America, they have it in a way where you have a system where it's something you can have a score on. And that score can be affected positively or negatively depending on your spending habits. Right, so basically, that's how credit, and credit is one of the most important things over here if you're ever gonna live in America, because it can determine how your life, the quality of your life. Now, there's some people that ignore it. And the crazy part is, a lot of Americans ignore it, and some immigrants that come here, they think like, oh, that's something that I can't have access to. But I'm gonna tell you this, it's actually something you can have access to and something you can take advantage of and get better with. So, you might be wondering, like, I just got here, like, how do I even get there? I need a social security number. So I'm gonna tell you how to get your social security number. So how to get your social security number? Call it SSN. And the easiest way to do it, since this is for people who are student visas, because that's what I came with. So with the student visa, you just go apply for a job at school, at the school you go to. Now, this is the easiest way for you to get your social security number, because this is what you need to get your credit. So once you apply for a job at the school, and this is for the school you're going to, and it could be anything. Don't, like, if it's librarian, just try apply for a job. You get this number. So if you haven't done that, go do it. If you have, perfect. This is video for you. So once you apply for the job at school, then you want to start building your credit from there. Don't wait. Don't say, oh, I got to have this to start building credit. No, just start. There's nothing wrong with it. So what you want to do, the easiest way to do is, because you got to learn. You got to think of it just like somebody. It's like if somebody gives you money and you pay them back on time, they're going to trust you to give you more money. So the more you pay them back on time and they give you money, the more they trust you. So the more they trust you, the more they would recommend you to someone else, so you can ask them for money, then they can give you some money. So in America, the score of credit, I think the highest is 850. And I think you can have even 0. Now, here's the one thing that you got to learn. Because sometimes people think like, oh, I don't need it, I can just have cash or whatever. But here's what I'm going to tell you. A negative credit score is better than 0. Like, literally, if you have a negative credit score, you're better than someone who has a 0 credit score. What does that mean? If you haven't established any credit at all, you're basically 0. But someone who has negative, that means that they have established credit, but they have ruined it by having bad spending habits, not paying things on time, and maybe having high balances or whatever that case. But they have a more chance of getting a loan or getting something than someone who has a 0. Why? Because at least with them, they know something. Now with you that's a 0, they don't know anything. So people will not take a risk on someone like that because they're like, man, I don't even know if they're a good person to lend some money to. It's like if you're someone who never asks people for money, if you never ask people for money, and then you have someone else who asks people for money, but sometimes he doesn't pay on time. The person that doesn't pay on time, they're more known, but then it's a little bit, I don't know how to say this. It's a little bit easier to trust them because they already know the consequences. Whereas someone else who has never asked for money, there's still kind of that element of surprise that you don't know. And I know it sounds a little weird, but that's how the American system is created. So basically, you want to start having a credit. Now, one of the easiest way to start that is by looking at utility bills. So if you're living somewhere and someone else is already paying the utility bill, you can just ask them to put your name on it. If you're living with your dad, your mom, your uncles, whatever, ask them that you can have the name for your utility bills. Let's say they're paying for it. Let's just ask, like they keep on paying for it, but this is the thing about people. If you ask people for help, they will always help you. Because there's very few people out there that are actually bad and looking to get you. If you believe that people are out there looking to sabotage you, then you'll find them. But then if you're not looking for them, and I'm telling you this is true, the more you, depends on how you think. If you think everyone is out to get you, then you would see the people that are out to get you. And there's very few of them. I'm going to tell you that. But the people that are actually looking to better yourself, and especially if you're young and you're looking to get your life better, there's a lot of people out there to help you. So you look for them, ask them to put your name on a utility bill. Now this could be a light bill or a gas bill. And you can start that way. And once you do that for a while, and while you're doing this, open a bank account with any bank that you have. I'll recommend Chase, but if you have a bank account, open a bank account with them, and then after a while, ask for a credit card from the bank account. Most bank accounts will be open to giving you a credit card. And what you want to do now, this is the most important part. When you get a credit card, don't think of a credit card as if it's free money. Think of a credit card as money that someone has given to you, but it's cash. Think of it as a debit card. Like if you are never going to buy this thing with your cash, then you don't need to buy it. Simple. If you were going to buy it, even if you had the cash, then you didn't buy it. But now, instead of using your debit card, use your credit card and then pay back. The more you do that and the more you pay back, the more you're gonna have your credit score go up, and the more you're gonna be trustable. Now, one of the benefits, like I do, so this day I don't understand people who use their debit cards to pay for their things, because at the end of the day, with a credit card you get points. Like everything that you pay for, if you have a chance to use a credit card without the charge, like there's no way, there's nothing that makes sense about paying with a debit card. Now, if you have a bad spending habit, if you have extra cash, then it's itching you and you want to spend it, then you need to figure out what's the reason why that's happening. So what you want to do is have a bank account. You should have it before you have the light bill, before you own the light bill. So open a bank account. And this is not theory, because this is what I did. And right now my credit score is like 763, I think. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, what you want to do is open a bank account and then later ask the bank account for you to have a credit card. Sometimes they won't let you do it on the jump, but they will let you do it after they see like you've had the bank account maybe for 2 or 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then you're like, okay, I want to open a credit card. They'll give it to you, especially if you already have your social security number. So what you want to do from there, once you have your credit card and you're using them and you're paying them off, just keep on that same habit. Now, don't have too many credit cards. You want to open accounts maybe every 2-3 years, because every time you open a bank account, they do a credit check. And basically, a credit check is basically for a company to want to see how much loanable you are, and basically for them to do that, they need to look at your number, your credit score. And whenever they do that, it shows up in the system for 2 years, and it stays there for at least 2 years. And the more you have those habits of trying to like get more debt, get people to loan you more money, they're gonna basically not trust you more because you're like, why are you always looking to ask for money from people? But if you do it in every 1-2 years, then it's a little bit better, and because it comes off every time. And always, it's a habit you want to start early. If you haven't had a credit card before and you're getting your first one, make sure you pay it all on time in full. Now, a lot of credit cards, when you open them, they'll tell you the 0% APR in the first 18 months or something like that. This is how they're trying to get you. So basically, if you have a credit card and it says you're gonna have 0% interest for 18 months if you have a balance, that doesn't mean you should go ahead and just have a big balance in there and then say like, I'll pay it off slowly, because that's the goal. Because they know if you have that habit early on and you continue that habit when the 18 months are over, that's how they make money. So you want to make sure you're paying it in full from the moment you get it. If you know you're not going to be able to pay it in full, then don't get that thing that you're about to get. You don't need it. You need it that much, you got to assess. If you really need it that much, then get it. But then make sure you're able to pay it in full by the end of the month. Now, I know stuff happens, but you got to make sure. Pay it in full. And that's a habit that you got to have. And once you have it, it's going to help you in the future. And then from there, because that's how they measure. They measure payments on time, they measure credit checks, and they measure usage. So this is the biggest thing too. So percentage usage. So if you have a credit card, they'll give you a limit the first time you get it. And the limit could be, my first credit card, I think it was $1,000. If you get $1,000, that doesn't mean you should use, when you're using it, you should just swipe until you get to $9,000. No. Same thing, like if I was telling you I could give you $1,000 every month if you wanted to, I could lend you. And you come to me and you tell me, hey, I need $800 this month. And you pay back. And then you say $700, then $600, and then $900. The chances of me trusting you are lower because I'm like, wow, this person is always going closer to the limit. What if one day they can't pay it off? Simple. So what you want to do is only use 30% of whatever the limit you have. What's that? That's like $300 or $1,000. $1,000 is $300. So every month you want to keep your maximum usage at 30%. 16%, that's better. Now, the more your lifestyle changes, the more you probably have to increase your usage. And when you do that, then you can apply for another credit card. So that way you can keep your usage low. Because the goal is to have your credit score and a good number so that later in the future, if you need something, if you want to buy something, because as I said, in America, how much credit you have is how much you're worth. So that's the 4 tips that I have with credit. And this is something that it took me a while to learn, but I'm hoping to teach somebody, that way they can see it, and first, especially from someone who I thought it was impossible for me.